Uh-huh.
So we don't have music tonight?
Okay, so this is insane. First of all, we're here on a Sunday, which is just not normal at all.
Right, because
Not
you're
normal.
in church.
I am always in church on a Sunday, but we're also going to step it up a notch because we're going to do this super collaborative, as I like to call it,
Right.
with Ken from the Exceptional Conservative Show.
It's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, what's up, man?
It's called the Exceptional Sackhead Show or the Exceptional Sack Show.
Yeah.
That way we take half of each.
We're going to do essentially like a roundtable discussion. We each brought two topics, if you will, in. We drew straws prior, and Ken won.
He did, but I'm going first. Yeah.
That's discrimination, man.
Listen, first of all, I want to touch on the theme music. I just figured out that if you light some candles, that's a very romantic tune.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's going to be part of the Valentine package.
Well, you know what, Ken? I've decided that we need to have you. We need to get lyrics for our theme song and have you do like your Barry White over it.
Now, hang on a second. Why would Ken...
Yeah, baby.
Listen to him. Listen to that melodic voice.
You sounded taller.
Hey, baby.
I am in
Would
a
you like
trance.
to have unprotected sex with a man like me?
I'm in a trance just listening to him. So the phone number, if we actually decide to take calls, is going to be 347-205-9399. Clint's saying no.
No.
But,
Ken, what do you say?
Okay. We all voted, and Clint said no.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so if you call in, it's probably not going to get answered. And if you're liberal and you call in, you don't want to get pounded by three.
I was going to say that would be even better.
Yeah.
Well, Sean and Clint, the real reason, and we have to let the world know, is that because we did not get Obama minutes because of sequestration. So as a result, we can't answer the phone.
Exactly.
One more dirty dealing of sequestration.
Well, hang on a second, but they did get Obama phones, so...
Hey, how did you think the bombing went off? Thank you, Obama.
Believe it or not, it came out this week, and it surprised me that was a remote detonation. It was not cell phones. They confirmed that.
Really?
They did.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why they stayed as close as they did, which shocked a lot of... Because that was one of the biggest questions is if you were going to do that, why would you stay that close when you could have gotten away and called? And that was one of the reasons is that they said it was a remote detonation. It was not cell phone based, so they had to be that close.
Well, then why did were there more, though? I mean...
more what?
Bombs.
They said so, but for some reason they didn't activate.
Huh.
So...
Did they forget to put the battery in?
I don't... Wouldn't that be great? What was that?
The Discovery Channel incident where the guy failed to remove the third safety or whatever.
That's right.
Yep, and he didn't...
I was also thinking of Ocean's 11, where they're in the bottom of the casino and it's Matt Damon and George, and they're like, why have... if you lose track for 1 minute, I know somebody gets hurt.
I'm trying to figure out... They went to a public school in America. Shouldn't they have known?
No.
I mean...
No, that's...
I'm sorry.
That was the problem.
Yeah, that was the problem.
They did go to public school in America. That's where we went wrong.
No, that's not wrong, because like the Attorney General issued his opinion, right, on that immigration case we talked about on Friday. You can do away with homeschooling. Everybody's got to go to public school, and that's totally okay. Nobody's rights are being violated. So that may be something we see in the future. Maybe that's why they're saying it, because it's a national security issue. Because if you force everybody to go to public school, you breed a bunch of people that can't even put a battery in a simple device. And so, therefore, we're combating terrorism. I like where you were going with that, Sean. See how I just wound all this together?
You know what? Good job. Good
Thank
for
you.
you. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, we have people that have zero idea what their national identity is, nothing about history, so we won't know how to be free or even that we're supposed to. And then even if we decided we wanted to, we won't have the basic knowledge to do anything about it.
Wow.
Perfect.
Wow.
All right.
Spicy.
We
See,
were,
is that our studio audience?
yeah,
No,
that was
it's a live studio audience.
So tonight's first subject's going to be by Clint. Clint, what do you got?
Yeah. Well, here Congress wants the Army to take more tanks, the Abrams tanks. They upgrade the systems and so forth, and Congress says, hey, we're buying you guys more Abrams tanks. We're upgrading all the tanks you have. And the Army says, we don't want them. Yeah. So now, not that there would be any progressive generals in Obama's term. I'm personally probably okay with the Army not having more tanks, but
especially if they say they don't need it.
Yeah, I mean, Congress says no. Here, take some tanks, and the Army says no tanks. See how I did that?
What?
That was good. That was real good.
Apparently,
for those following along at home.
Apparently, here's the deal. The Army says, listen, all that money you have earmarked for these tanks, we would rather do other things with.
Interesting.
Like buy toilet seats. I don't know what they're going to use with it, right? They can't buy ammunition because Homeland Security has all that, but they can do something else. So, but Congress, apparently they say, no, you have to use this money for tanks. And it comes down to, apparently, there's certain jobs in certain communities that manufacture components and upgrades and manufacture parts of these tanks. And if this money isn't used to keep rolling these Abrams tanks out, then a bunch of jobs will be lost. So it's almost like a mini stimulus.
It's a stimulus program.
Maybe.
Is this QE12?
No, it's not QE because the money's already there. I mean, we have the money. It's not like they have to print more, right? But
well, we do anyways. We don't have to, but we do anyways.
Right. I mean, come on, Army. Let them use that money for the tanks and print more for whatever the hell else you want.
You know, speaking of overprinting money, somebody gave me the best metaphor for overprinting money. It's like you make your coffee pot, you get it already, you put your coffee in, you fill it up, you get that first cup, and then you don't change the grinds, and you just keep making cup after pot after pot.
Ew.
Right? And eventually it's so watered down you don't even recognize it as coffee anymore. And I thought that was, for this show especially, Ken's a coffee drinker, we're a coffee drinker. I thought that was one of the best metaphors I've heard for that.
What the hell are you
actually, that's 7-Eleven coffee. Same grinds every day.
So our money equals 7-Eleven coffee from Ken. That's his opinion. Ken, what's your opinion on the Congress forcing tanks down the Army's throat?
Well, I guess it's better than abortion, which the Congress is also forcing down recently. Well, now I don't believe it's Congress. I believe it's a executive request of the military to make certain that abortion is available for every soldier who needs it. I'm quite certain that's especially what you need when you're on the front line. Since you can't get an MRE and you certainly can't get a new tank, my God, an abortion is pretty handy.
Well, yeah, because think about it. If you don't have anybody to put in the tanks,
right?
What's the point of having them? What's the point of having them?
Exactly.
But is this something that Congress should just be listen, we all know where our economy is right now. We all know how much trouble we're in. When the Air Force wanted to, or was it the Navy wanted to do that super green thing and it cost so much money and everyone said, hey, this is crazy, you shouldn't be doing this. They're like, we have to do it anyway. This is almost the exact same thing.
But in reverse.
Yeah.
And they're now saying, oh, no, you have to do this. We got to make more tanks. We can't not make tanks. And I just, that money.
Do we even need them? That should be the primary question. What is the basic need of national defense? And if the military, which is moving towards a two-world sphere military force related to more of an aerial as well as high-tech oriented system, why do you need tanks?
Boys, I just figured it out.
What?
Here's the deal.
All right.
The Army doesn't want the tanks because they want the tanks to be produced, but they just want them to go to Homeland Security. What do you think?
Ooh.
Ammunition and tanks, right?
They already have the ammunition for
They
them.
have the ammunition. I don't know if it's for them, but
Well, how about
coming in their main
a
street?
major conspiracy theory here.
what if they sell them for the cost? And then we could have a sackhead tank,
No. Ooh.
right?
Yeah.
We could put it on the deck of the aircraft carrier.
Well, yeah, and then maybe put some like cardboard wings on it and just see if we can launch it.
What a tremendous
But you
waste of
could
money.
also add an electric battery to it, and then you really would have a supersized stimulus
Yeah.
going on there. Union made.
Well, that would be it. What if we start doing green tanks? We start because
They're green already. No, they're more tan now.
they're
I
more
guess,
tan
right?
now, but I would guess that China would own more of us. They would then own parts of our. Wait, they already make parts
They
of our
already
military components. So
Oh, never mind.
interesting.
So the Pentagon was like, oh my God, they're coming out in tan? No, we must go green. Gotta go green.
Gotta go green. Those tan matches my boots, though.
What if we did half tan, half green? What do you think?
Uh,
But it depends if it's before Memorial Day or after Memorial Day.
Right. Look, I'm okay with having more military hardware because that's one of the things that our federal government is actually constitutionally supposed to do is have our military provide for national defense.
Right.
But if the Army is saying, hey, listen, I'd rather spend this in other ways, because who knows, maybe they're missing, weapons components, or they're running in, maybe there's other things that the troops really need. The Army would know that more. I don't know.
like breakfast?
Like breakfast.
Or bullets?
Or bullets. But by the same token, maybe they would just end up spending it to trying to green the aircraft or something. I have no idea.
Well, it's one of those things. Listen, if the M1s are starting to get, the ones that are out there, if they're starting to age out and it's cheaper to replace them than it is to upgrade and maintain them,
What?
I understand that. Being somebody who owns car, I have my cars for the house, and it gets to the point where a car gets to a certain age. Is it cheaper to keep fixing it or to purchase a new one?
They're upgrades.
And they're upgrades.
Yeah.
So,
But
I don't know.
do you need them?
Well, here's the thing. It's kind of interesting where a lot of these tank jobs are. I'll give you a guess.
Me?
Both of you.
I'm going to guess somewhere.
Illinois.
That's a good guess, but no.
Oh, see.
Think battleground.
I was thinking Virginia.
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yeah, it is a swing state.
Weird.
And this is a bipartisan effort here. So both of these guys can argue. And Lima, Ohio, it's the Lima, Ohio tank plant. And I think it's around. Yes. So there's a bipartisan push to spend this $436 million on these tanks, and that's where one of those plants is. So
what you're telling me is that if D.C. didn't have 98% of the black people voting Democrat, we could actually build those tanks here?
yes.
We could become a swing state.
Yes. We could become a swing state. This is supposedly the Lima plant has close to 700 different jobs. So they've already lost, I guess, according to a Fox News report, they had about 1,100 jobs within the last few years, and they're down now to about 700 jobs. So there's already that kind of that bad taste in their mouth or whatever, so to speak. So both sides of the aisle, they want to save those votes, I guess. So even though the Army's saying, hey, we could use this on other things, they want to keep those jobs. And being Ohio being a swing state that it is, a big one at that, they're not ready to take those jobs out of there, or at least to say, hey, we're responsible for this.
I have a great idea. Why don't they ask the people of Lima to build the stuff that the people need in the military? Then they can actually...
That is a great idea. Hey, we need widgets. Okay, you're now building widgets, right? or maybe
and apparently the people in Lima don't care what they build.
As long as they have the job. Unless maybe the people now, the tanks like companies like, yeah, we can't build toilet seats that the Army needs. So, and then a new company won't start up there because of taxes.
You know, toilet seats are such an overlooked market.
They really, seriously, I want this like warm.
I've always mocked that, and a friend of mine actually had one in their house, and I was pet sitting for them for a week. He put a TV in there, and I laughed when I first saw it.
Right.
I spent probably half the week in that bathroom. It was a warm toilet seat.
Right.
It actually had a fan.
Did it have a bidet?
It did.
Wait, the toilet had a fan from underneath?
If you wanted
that actually would be kind of nice.
It was like a solid toilet. And my first thought was, my goodness, this is an amazing toilet. You don't normally say that when you're in the restroom at all.
I don't think I've ever said that.
He said those words out loud to the cat.
Wow.
I can see you looking at the Da Vinci painting while you're on the toilet and saying, this is much better than that.
Oh, yeah. And I bet he always has his phone on him. I bet he just left the phone in the other room.
Oh, yeah, not tonight,
like,
baby.
Watch TV, as the Red Sox playing right now. Put a footstool up on the toilet.
This was a couple years ago. This was actually before I had, before the smartphone. I think I still had, a flip phone at that point.
Dude, all you would have needed, seriously.
It was back in the day we used to read the back of the shampoo bottles.
All you would have needed was a hat with the twin beer holders.
I never would have left.
I would have lived there for life. That toilet.
I would have lived twin beer holders.
Matter of fact, let's set that up here in the office.
Now that's what some Army Rangers need. That's what we should be sending to Afghanistan.
I all for making our soldiers more comfortable in the battlefield. And if we could roll one of those out on the back of a tank,
maybe that's why they need the tank.
Maybe that's why they need the upgrade.
It's like a porta potty, but like the porta throne, right? They can sit there with a fan underneath them, fanning their stuff while the seat's all warm. It's cool if you're in a hot environment, right?
Hey, and you know what? Actually, that would be a great diplomacy gift for the Taliban.
It would.
We would no longer need their left hand.
Wait, and he dared Joe Biden to jump out of it like a cake when it's rolled out to the troops.
Oh, Joe Biden, one of our favorite.
That's right.
That's one of our favorite events on the show that we do is Dare Joe Biden. What can we dare Joe Biden to do?
That's what I say. We dare him to jump out butt naked in the middle of a combat zone while it's being rolled out to the troops. Yeah! Hang on, I'm still picturing this.
No, 1 minute. We have 1 minute left.
We have 1 minute left on the topic.
Please don't picture this. I can see plugs now talking about this is the best thing that we've ever done.
And then they talked about his wrinkled back just flapping in the wind when he jumps out of this porta potty.
Oh my! Thank you, plugs.
Congress forcing upgrades on tanks that the military says they doesn't need. Tremendous waste in political gain. Clint, yes or no?
Yep. The tremendous waste of time too, because that's a topic that deserved zero coverage on any show. So I'm proud to bring it here.
But we did it here, and we did it with class, and that's what counts.
Exactly. We put our butt into it.
Cat Girl's in that chat room. She says that wouldn't it be funnier to watch Moochie jump naked out of a plane in the combat zone with her wig flying off?
That would be pretty good also. And with Joe Biden doing aerial acrobatics as they're floating down to the ground. That would be awesome.
Hey, so Ken, same question to you.
Yeah.
Tremendous waste of money and political gain only. Is that correct?
No. Actually, I think it's a great way of extending our borders to the Taliban and reaching out to the Russian Chechnya jihadists. I think we need to do more because the more we come together and share our crap, the better off we are as a nation and as a universe. And so I'm happy with this.
Well,
so we should spend even more money on the crappers.
It was really nice to have Jay Carney on the line, but Ken from the Exceptional Conservative Show, I'd like your opinion.
Yes.
What a tremendous waste of money and also time, because you know what? Obama's not running again, is he?
No.
And are you sure?
Unless they get that constitutional amendment passed.
Right.
Right?
Well, he's going to do that by executive order. So, okay, so he is going to run again. Not a bad idea.
But even if it's for Hillary, they're setting up that swing state again. It's one more thing that the Democrats can turn around.
It's bipartisan, though. Now, here, I got to caution you, Sean, you can't blame the Democrats on this one. That's actually a bipartisan push to keep that plant open and those jobs there.
What are you, the freaking lifeguard of the show? I have to caution you. You can't
Don't be too freaking one-sided here. We're a conservative show. Don't be like the Super Bowl that doesn't call the holding call against the Niners.
Hey.
Hey.
This isn't our show tonight. We don't have to be fair.
Oh, that's right. You did say opinion.
We don't have to be right.
That's right. The Democrats are doing it all.
And what I should have said was liberals, and it could also be bipartisan liberals, even those that say
Name 1,000 liberal Republicans.
McCain.
Boehner, McCain, Graham.
Teddy Kennedy.
Oh,
wait, he was a liberal Democrat.
We could go. Listen, I don't want to waste the entire show naming those rhinos. I agree. I think it's a total political gain. I think it has a lot.
We're past a minute, by the way. I'm bored.
We're timing this.
If you could see Sean's face right now, I'm bored. Who's next? Okay, I'm going to Ben.
You know, that's kind of like asking Obama to keep it short. We're timing this guy.
Wow.
Welcome to the Back Dump Hour.
That is just
wow.
All right.
Sorry,
oh my gosh.
I don't like to be cornered. Sometimes I just react oddly. Ken.
Was that Obama's? Was that Michelle's bangs crying? Was that her bangs?
Sorry to be cut off. Ken, you have the next topic, sir.
Oh, I have the next topic. Well, this is a real hot topic, and it's just come off the headline here. It's right now. Reading it right here. Based on my third grade education at the D.C. Public Schools of America. Apparently, now get this now, the mayor of Charlotte, North Carolina is about to be nominated on Monday as the new Secretary of Transportation. Why is that important? Well, he doesn't have any experience whatsoever in
He's never even driven the bus.
Well, no, he actually caught the bus once, and that basically qualifies you for this administration.
So he's a conservative guy.
He's very conservative. He spends liberally. He's a 41-year-old lawyer. His name is Eric Holder. No, I'm sorry. Mayor Anthony Fox of Charlotte, North Carolina. And for all my Charlotte listeners, both of you, you suck. Why would you send this guy here to Washington, D.C.? He's going to take charge of the department that has been in the spotlight as a result of the flight delays that has been, quote, unquote, the responsibility of the sequestration, which we know is not true. And the real funny thing about this, in my personal opinion, besides the fact that he has no experience, is that he just announced this year that he was getting out of politics. And the reason he was getting out of politics is to spend more time with his family.
Well, that's nice.
Well, good for him.
Yeah, that's nice. Why doesn't
Yeah.
he do that?
I think it's funny.
I think he should do that.
I think it's funny that he's all about, I got to take time away from politics and get a federal position on my way. Screw the family. I'm going to work, baby.
Yeah. Obama? Oh, yes, Messiah. I'm coming.
This is the big time, baby. I'm going to do zero work. I'm going to have a federal paycheck. I'm going to work one day and get a retirement for the rest of my life. And I can get flown all across the country on the government dollar. I'm in. When's my first vacation?
But we're not talking about L.A. We're not talking New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C. We're not even talking Dallas or ATL, Atlanta. We're not talking about major cities like there that have serious transportation issues.
Well, hang on.
The biggest thing this guy has done is put in an electric streetcar project.
I have a theory.
That's so modern.
I have a theory. So here's the theory.
I just thought about this, guys. How about railroad?
Yes.
That's the next move.
Hey, California has that high-speed rail going in. That with all their extra money.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
I heard when he's done with this, he's going to work on getting the wagon trains back.
I actually have a theory on this. Now follow this logic.
Uh-oh.
Okay, no, here. If he were
do you have music for when Clinton has theory?
Yes.
We should actually. No, that's not theory. That's not theory music.
Oh no. That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's not theory music.
We have reflection music for Clint.
Yeah.
And
rant.
I don't even remember where I put your rant music because you stopped using it.
So here's the theory. We have if this guy was from a major metropolitan area, right, like L.A., San Francisco, Atlanta, Chicago, and he were honest, which I know is a big stretch, anyways. Hang on. He would realize that public transportation and light rail systems and everything else sucks and does nothing but increase your crime rate. So him being from a small town, maybe Obama is turning more to the conservative side because he won't be pro all those big budget programs. What do you think?
What do you think, Sean?
Come on.
In this hour of the night, that actually sounds pretty good. Yeah, that's reasonable.
Let's go with that. I wonder what this guy has on Obama.
A lot of things that you're starting. No, I think what you're starting to see this president do, and I'm not saying no other president's ever done this, is he's putting young Democrats that they want to have a future
Progressive,
further down the line in the spotlight. Secretary of Transportation.
Yeah, that's a huge one.
He's urging Cory Booker to run for Senate. All
Did
those
you say
things.
Mr. Bookman?
Hanging with Mr. what? Cooper?
Mr. Bookman. No, from UConn.
Well,
Did he put him in the Senate?
Sean, you're not hip. Clint, you are seriously down with a brother. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I don't play. Come on, I used to watch Good Times, all that.
Well,
what's happening?
This dates back to a couple of weeks ago where Sean used that golf statement. I remember that. The golf reference.
Was I sober?
Probably not.
Either way. Catholic says that light rail actually is more costly and takes longer to drive from suburban towns into bigger cities on average.
It takes what?
Longer, and it's more expensive.
Light rail is?
The light rail style system.
That's shocking.
I'm not. She just said it. I'm just relaying the information because you can't read.
No, I can't read.
No, I can't read. I went to a D.C. public school.
Massachusetts, #1 in the country, baby. I didn't do as good as everyone else, though.
Oh, wow.
In Northern California specifically, we actually looked into it in the Sacramento area.
Yeah.
Congresswoman Matsui, she's a real good friend of budgets.
You said that and 5 pigs came into my room.
5 pigs?
Yeah.
But That system, it's the regional transit system that's out there, and we actually looked into this. So that's how I pull this random stuff out sometimes. But they got a lot of money under the federal stimulus program, $2 million, and they literally in some areas moved the tracks like 50 yards.
Yeah.
From one stop to another, and it consistently loses money.
Well, and they also added a line to nowhere. They added a line to the north part of the city. That there's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
A few government buildings, not enough to sustain it.
A light rail system, right.
And there's no apartments, maybe 10, 15 years down the line, but we had to spend that money now because much like all the other government things, if they didn't use it, they would have lost it. And instead of giving it back, saying, hey, we're being responsible, we don't need it.
Yeah.
No, we have to spend this. It's for jobs.
And they put the line into another area east of there, Folsom.
Yeah.
And the residents were like,
we don't want this.
Don't bring that. That brings crime into our areas. And
crime has gone through the roof.
Yep, crime has increased in that area.
Again, it was the government saying, we know it's better for you. You need this.
Yeah.
Even though the residents there said, no, we don't. And I believe Portland, Oregon, which has the same style of system,
the regional transit style
as Sacramento, it's the one that they actually duplicated. And
good for them.
To our friend Kat, who's in the chat room down in Austin, Texas, I think it's the same style that you folks have too. Also, a gigantic loss of money.
Only difference is, Kat, down there in Texas, your folks can carry guns to protect yourself.
Right.
So the system is probably a lot. Right. But California and Oregon, not so much.
Right, not nearly as much.
Yeah, because the government will protect everybody, but it hasn't worked out so well.
Well, and getting back to the point at hand, it's a political attack. It's just another political thing. He had a friend, like you said, I don't know what he has on Obama. He probably has lunch with him. That's why he's getting the job. You know, it's almost like the guy. It's almost like the guy who's getting appointed general. Or not general, but like CEO of some company because the
general of a company,
general of the Motors. I believe that's right.
Actually, yeah, that would be General Motors. That would.
No, but it's like the owner. It's like the owner's.
His name is Trumka. 4-star, man, 4-star.
It's seriously like one of those things where it's like they give the CEO's son a job even though he can't even tie his own shoes. Just because it's the nice thing to do. And I don't know if this mayor can or cannot tie his shoes. I'm not there to watch it every day. But for some reason...
He may wear zips, like the Velcro shoes.
Listen to his resume. Now, maybe we're a bit... Our scrutiny is a little bit so severe.
Okay.
Maybe we expect too much from humanity, like not only the ability to do the job, but the capacity of skill set to do it. Maybe we expect too much. Apparently, this Charlotte mayor is a part-time gig. He's a part-time mayor because the city is right next to Mayberry. It's just nothing else to do. Apparently, he's a lawyer for Design Line Corp., which is a Charlotte-based maker of hybrid buses.
Oh!
So the biggest project he's ever done was the electric streetcar. And he is a lawyer with a hybrid bus company. I implore everyone, tomorrow morning, buy Design Line stock. Trust me, that was going on.
Yeah, it's going to go through the roof because the government's... Well,
they're going to be giving them a lot of money.
How does he make it through the nomination process? Because at some point, listen, we're idiots, and we can figure out where this is going already. Somebody in Congress has to stand up and go, this is bullshit. Well, no.
This is a WTF moment, America.
He's an attorney. Well, A, that's one major reason why he shouldn't be in government, and we need to start, especially lawmakers, but government in general needs less attorneys. B, he's a lawyer for a hybrid bus company.
And he owns it.
I don't...
Well, he owns it, right?
Well, does he own it?
No, he's a lawyer. They say he's a lawyer.
He's their attorney.
Ownership of it is not in question.
So
he is
someone.
I bet you he has stock in some of it or something.
I bet you he does.
Well, maybe like his wife has a lot of stock in it, but he doesn't have any because that'd be a conflict of interest.
Right.
Well, maybe his wife owns an abortion clinic, and then that's how. Couple of sessions with Holder.
Yeah, and then transportation. So he needs to arrange transportation for people to get to the clinics, right?
Right.
Yeah.
This is a conspiracy, folks.
Your Obama phone, and that way you can hand your phone next to the person who's going to stop off at the CVS with the battery with your bag.
Well, and then they're just going to give it to you anyhow, so what difference does it make? So you're not going to have to pay for any of it. So listen, it's a con job. It's a sorry, we're throwing stuff at each other in the studio. It's completely ridiculous. Once again, people aren't vetting. Unfortunately, there's Ken from the ExceptionalConservativeShow.com that vets. But
yeah, but in all seriousness, America, forgive me, Sean, but in all seriousness, everyone in America should pick up the phone tomorrow morning and call their congressman and tell them, do not confirm this appointment.
At all.
He does not have the skill set necessary to run the Department of Transportation. I mean, maybe he has a skill set to arrange golfing outings for the President of the United States.
Well, that's a big one, though. You got to think about how important that's going to be with this administration. That's kind of a big deal.
And maybe Obama told him, hey, listen. Yeah, maybe Obama told him, listen, I'm going to give you this really wicked cool title, but all you're going to be doing is setting my tea times. Because you really don't have the skill set, and so the only way I could get your confirmation through Congress is to promise them that you are only going to be making my tea times.
Listen,
and that's it.
I would rather they pick some 30-year bus driver retiree from a big city that actually
Ralph
knows.
Cramden.
Ralph Cramden.
You know, Ralph Cramden actually does have more experience than this guy.
Exactly. He understands it. You know, he knows it top to bottom. He knows what the passengers need. Yep. You know, he knows Norton's, which is a really good plumber if we ever get in trouble at the White House. So he's a guy you would want on board.
With all the bullshit blowing out of that place, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
That place has got to be clogged up on a regular basis.
Oh, man.
Hey, where's the 1 minute mark? We've been going
listening to the best. You are listening to the best radio program in America. It is Sackheads Radio, and they come to you every Friday night. And I'm telling you, it's a wonderful program.
See, now I thank you for that, but I would disagree. I think that what we're doing right now, the Exceptional Sack Show, is it's a hybrid between the two names. Why do you guys always think everything's dirty? The Exceptional Sack Show, if we could do this on a regular basis, is absolutely a phenomenal show. Was that somebody?
When you said it, when you said it at this hour of the night, that comes off a little different.
Oh, really? I didn't mean anything by it. That's weird. What did you think that sounds like?
I'm sorry. It's my hearing. Maybe it's going. I'm using an Obama phone.
Well, that's what it is. It's the Obama phone. It doesn't have really good coverage.
Hey, was that skid sound? Was that was that the 1 minute, or was that your underwear again?
That was the 1 minute in my underwear.
That skid mark sound? Okay.
Well,
you just heard Sean confirmed he has skiddies.
That's right.
But gentlemen, use that line next Friday night. If you're taking a lady out, tell her you want to get back home so you can listen to the Exceptional Sackhead.
That's right.
The Exceptional Sackhead Show.
Exceptional Sackhead Show. Coming to you live Sunday night. Show you right. Like that?
Wow, wow, wow.
Moving on. And I'm going to make this... All right, because if I let this go, it is just
this is going to turn ugly real quick.
Real ugly. Oh,
For mature audiences only.
So we touched on this past Friday, but yeah.
You're next. What's the topic, man?
Right now.
Well, come on, Sean. What are you waiting
like
for?
Clint, I start in the subject. He's like, you going to do a subject now? I'm like, listen, moron.
Well, listen, with that accent and nobody can stink and understand you anyways, you got to get to the damn point.
So, There's
It's exceptional sackhead show, baby.
Say that the Republicans.
Yeah, you turned in just to listen to us. Yeah.
Republicans are now urging Obama to enforce the Syria red line under the report from Hagel that they use chemical weapons. But they are opposed to deploying troops, so apparently they want to do either airstrikes or some sort of maybe paramilitary, train up their people, give some more funding to their the resistance.
Wow, that's a real serious red line thing, huh?
Exactly. That was my point.
Wow, that's awesome. What was the red line drawn in? Was it crayon, marker, or lipstick?
You can't go out in this world and say if they use chemical or biological weapons, that's going to be a serious red line that'll get crossed, and then turn around and say, and even the Republicans, hey, you know what? You need to enforce that red line. Don't send one troop over there. So that limits us to now blowing things up with our airplanes.
Which I'm okay with.
Which I am more than okay with. But you know as well as I do, the first time one civilian in Syria dies as a result.
Or they'll just say,
oh, my God.
Right. All over the world.
I would like to remind everybody of World War II when carpet bombing was the thing.
Yeah.
And it worked.
I'll tell you, changed a lot of people's minds.
I'm not advocating killing civilians, but what I'm saying is sometimes shit happens in war and it sucks and it's sad.
Well, you either have to make a decision that you're going to go to war or not.
Yeah.
And if you go to war, which is it's terrible. We don't wish that upon anybody. But if you have to make that decision as a commander-in-chief and as an administration, you have to understand that there's a possibility there'll be collateral damage.
Yes.
And you have to stand by that and say, I understand, and it's a shame that people died. However, in order to achieve the objective we set, it was a necessary evil. It is war.
We did not target the civilians.
It is not a badminton game.
And that's kind of my point. Is hey, World War II, I think people nowadays forget the amount of civilian casualties on both sides that were inflicted in that war, to where now, if you get one civilian that dies as a result of collateral damage, yeah, it's sad, but that's not the goal of war. That's not what's being attacked now, except the terrorists, because they like killing innocent civilians because they're a bunch of chicken shit cowards. But anyways, I digress.
If I'm sitting in the Oval Office, I'm raising my hand. Didn't we just send from Libya chemical weapons to Turkey through Benghazi? Didn't we just do that? So why are we complaining about Syria's chemical weapons when Turkey has chemical weapons that they plan on using against Syria?
Because we did it. Because it's all right. The Syria thing wasn't.
Well, my first question is, how many of these Syrian chemical weapons came out of Iraq? They probably have
none, because there are no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq.
That's right.
Bush lied. Yeah, I can do that.
Wow.
But what do you think? What do we do at this point? The president came out. This is one of the things that I despise about this administration. He has all this tough talk sometimes, and then when it comes time, you can't say something like that's going to be a red line and not do something, and then wonder why the rest of the world, Russia, China, Iran,
I'm going to scratch your eyes out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Does not take you at all seriously, and he keeps getting these opportunities to prove that he's not afraid.
Now, I have to complain about about Congress, though. You can't send one troop.
Right.
Well, hang on a second, Congress, and I don't care which side of the aisle said it. This is now an American issue, because our nation said, hey, this is a red line, this is unacceptable. So if the president comes out and says, hey, they crossed a red line that we set as a nation, I really need to send troops, Congress, you should give them the authority to send the troops.
You got to support your president.
Can I give you all a date? Can I give you all the date in history?
Oh, yes.
December 2010, when North Korea crossed the line of demarcation and attacked a naval boat that belonged to South Korea. And this administration said, if you do it again, we're going to really have consequences against you.
Mm-hmm.
How's that working in North Korea?
Well, though, I can't remember if that was before or after this administration when they shelled the island, the South Korean island, and this administration said, hey, well, listen, you do this again, and seriously, something bad's going to happen to
look,
you.
this is...
And then it's almost like a dog, and I hate to say it this way, but it's like a dog, where they go on the rug and you don't discipline them and straighten them out, but you yell at them, but you do zero action whatsoever.
Right.
Then they do it again, same thing. You know, discipline him, but you just yell. Eventually, dog's not stupid. He's going to go, I can take a dump wherever I want, and this idiot's not going to get off his rear end to do it. It's the same mentality with Kim Jong, Little Kim, as we like to call him, her on the show.
I think it's a little bit different situation in that I think he's almost like the British police, right? No weapons, so they're like, yeah, stop. Please stop.
Yeah.
Okay, stop. I'm going to call somebody else with a gun to stop you. Yeah, right? Stop. Or coalition from the UN to help me with this, please.
Here's the only problem.
No, stop.
That's not a good example because one of the best stories, my brother-in-law went to school. He's in England for a year. He did a semester over there. And he thought the same thing going over there until the first time somebody mouthed off to a British cop. And he was like, the dude was like 6'3". The British cop was like 5 foot nothing. He said, this guy mouthed off. He said, I've never seen a grown man cry like that in my adult life. He said, but that cop beat the man into crying and then literally dragged him by his foot down the street to his patrol car.
Listen, it's a little different when somebody is yelling at you and being verbally mean versus somebody with a weapon that's trying to do bad things to you.
I understand.
So good job, British cop, for taking down the guy who was yelling at you and hurting your feelings. But Syria is a bad guy with a gun.
Well, and
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
A lot of British cops now are armed. They've done that because they've had a spike in gun violence, even though they have such restrictive gun laws that's impossible.
That's weird.
They've had such a spike in gun violence over the last 5 years that they are arming more and more British police officers.
Well, that's awesome.
I'm sure this will somehow be our fault.
What does that have to do with unarmed cops?
I'm sorry, Judge Bush.
Yeah.
Bush's fault.
Bush's fault.
No, I agree that we need to at some point say to Syria, hey, enough is enough.
Hang on, I have a message for our friend Pierce Morgan.
Okay.
Hey Pierce, see, even your freaking cops suck. Okay, I'm done. Hey Pierce, remember in World War II when we had to send our private citizens had to donate personal guns to your people because you disarmed everybody and they couldn't defend themselves against the Nazis they were worried about an invasion? Never mind. I digress.
You digress. I'm really seriously split. I'm very frank with you. I am someone who truly loves military defense. I'm the kind of person that believes if they ask for $1 billion, you should give them $10 million, just to make certain that we get enough of everything that we need. But I'm not for sending an American soldier to Syria in the middle of a civil war that basically can't be resolved and is only being heightened by the ignorance from the foreign policy, both diplomatic and military, of this administration. You have an idiot for president who says, I'm going to draw a red line, unlike Netanyahu, who said we should draw a red line with the terrorists as they approach us and continue to bombard us with weaponry. At that particular point, we should fight back. Didn't hear anything, crickets from the Obama administration. All of a sudden he comes out and says, we have a red line for this, and crickets again from the Obama administration. The bottom line is he is not someone who loves the military. He's not someone who wants to defend this country. In fact, he blames us for the civil war in Syria. I don't know how, but it's our fault.
I agree with you.
Go ahead.
He should not be making statements that he has no intention of ever backing up, which is what he does.
But he banked on it not happening.
No, you know what he banked on? The United Nations. He banked on the UN actually doing something, and once again, they are the most gigantic failure on the face of the planet.
I disagree. I don't think he thought it would happen. I agree that he thinks, okay, if it happened, the UN's my safety net. I don't think he believed that Syria would use chemical weapons on people.
I disagree because that's happened. There's enough history in countries using chemical weapons on their own people for years.
You said history.
Can I bust that bubble right here, right now?
Yes, please do.
Because you know how prolific NBC is, its news department, and you know how we as commentators and news people depend on NBC.
Oh, yeah.
Where Chuck Todd,
yeah.
Chuck Todd came out today earlier on Meet the Press and said, this is Obama didn't want to go public with the Syrian chemical weapons evidence. This is his quote. Appearing on Meet the Press, Todd first said the administration regrets President Obama's claim that this would be a red line, adding they didn't want to go public last week that they had this early evidence, and only did so because they knew Congress was going to get this briefing and it was all going to get out. The same group of people who have been covering up from Benghazi, covering up for the South Korean and North Korea conflict, covering up because of the Iran issue, is attempting now to cover up for the sissy girl in the White House who refuses to do anything, including back up what he says. And that's my opinion.
Now hang on a second. He has backed up what he said. He said he's going to fundamentally transform the United States of America, and he's sure as hell backing that up.
Well, listen, we all know lapdog media does whatever they can to protect this president because they're hoping that when it becomes quote-unquote state media that they will be the official correspondents and have a nice federal cushy gig. That's their hope. And I'm starting to truly believe that's where they're going, because you would think, as we do here, but as a correspondent for a major network, you would think you'd want to dig up the dirt and break that, because that is what the people really want to hear. They want to hear the stuff that gets buried, that the administration tries to hide. I mean, you look at it goes all the way back to the same thing with Nixon when it was broken. A lot of people were ignoring it for a while, and eventually it was such in their face that they couldn't have to. And
did you just say couldn't have to?
Yeah.
Okay.
They couldn't have to ignore it.
Right.
Shut up and drink your Capri Sun. And that's exactly what happens now. You know, that's exactly what happens now. Is now instead they keep pursuing these lies, and they use it to cover up, and they don't ever question. And when they do question, what was the writer there who was about to drop something?
Bob Woodward.
Woodward.
He couldn't have to drop that story anymore.
He couldn't have to drop it. And all of a sudden, Vinny and Louie showed up with a couple clubs at Woodward's house and said, hey, out the window, throw me my jacket. Oh, yeah, and by the way, if you put that story to press, we'll ruin you. Have a nice day. And then they lit his car on fire, which I just thought was really a little extra.
A little extra, yeah. They left the gun. They took the canola.
While you still have time.
So the lapdog media is going to do whatever they want to do, and we know this. Like I said, I believe that if the commander-in-chief says such a statement like that's a red line, he needs to back that up. Whether I agree with him saying it or disagree with him saying it, he needs to have credibility and say, you know what? If you use chemical weapons on you people, we're going to come in and make sure that you can't use any weapons one way. If he's going to say that, then he needs to do that. Or if he turns out and says this is an international thing, I'm going to rely on the UN to deal with it because that's what we have the UN for, allegedly, or the NATO nations or something like that, then that's fine. I don't always agree with it. I hate the UN, so I don't agree with anything that has their name in it. I don't even like to say underwear. I say drawers instead because it has the word UN in it. Right.
All the time.
You know, but stick by it. At least have some backbone and back up your own words. And you can't.
We are the laughing stock of the world.
I have another. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I just want to say I have people from Taiwan and China and the Philippines who listen to the show, and they get this information, and they just can't believe, as powerful a nation as we are, that we have a buffoon in the White House who literally can't stand behind his own words. Mm-hmm. I mean, it doesn't even matter if we have tapes. anymore. Abrams tanks. It doesn't even matter anymore. Everyone with a bad temper or a bad attitude has decided this month that this administration is not real, and we're going to do whatever we darn well please.
Yeah.
And middle finger Obama when we have an opportunity to.
Well, and yeah.
I have a note on Syria. This will be a real popular idea. It's a civil war. Why don't we just stay the frick out of it?
Yeah. I agree with you on that statement.
Right.
And we should have, but he already made the statement, is my point. I agree with you. It's none of our freaking business. And if we're going to make it our business, then we need to actually make it our business, but don't turn around and say, "Hey, we're going to help you."
The only reason I said, "Hey, Congress, if he's asking for troops, maybe you give him troops," is because if America says there's a red line, if we don't act, like Ken's been talking about, we've been saying we're the biggest sissies on it. Nobody's going to take us seriously until another administration comes in. So you almost back yourself into a corner, right?
Well,
yeah.
Kat in the chat room has a great point. First of all,
Kat in the chat room?
She said that the show should be on nightly, so we agree with that.
Thank you,
Kat.
The cat in the chat. Thank you.
But she said, they might have, they feared Bush, and as much as we don't agree with everything that Bush did, they feared Bush. I agree with that.
Bush did some things that I didn't agree with, but overall, I love Bush.
Yeah, and I do as
well. Like wear pink socks. I'm sorry, no, that's the wrong Bush. Bush did some things that I disagree with, and we kind of talked about it, especially with that the Patriot Act and the warrantless search, the administrative warrants and so forth. But Bush kept us safe,
and people were afraid of him.
People were afraid of him. He knew, hey, if Bush said, "Hey, we're going to come kick your ass," they said, "Oh shit, Bush is going to come kick our ass."
What's the score right now between Obama and Bush? Isn't it like 5-0 Bush to Obama?
Well, and I almost wonder if Bush...
Well, no, Obama got one because he did order the killing of bin Laden, right?
Right.
Gotta give Obama one.
He made the world's easiest decision.
Listen, he made the world's easiest decision, but he made the decision.
Are you sure? He's going from the golf course.
Expanding on Kat's point, and we agree, but
listen, somebody said, "Sir, is this your ball?" And he said, "Yes." But he just happened to be on.
What they didn't realize
also asked him, "Hey, can we go?"
Well, what they don't realize is, "Sir, is this your ball?" was actually the go code. Right. So he responded, "Yes,"
and he didn't realize that he'd actually ordered it, but he did. So, and then they called him into the room and said, "Hey, you got to see this." And he's like, "What am I watching?" "Oh, who just got killed?" "Oh, awesome. I guess I'll take credit."
Dude, are we playing Rainbow Six? This is awesome. I love this.
Oh, that was real.
Oh, my God.
On your helicopter.
All I can think about is that when he was asked the question, is this your ball? I know his immediate thought may have been, maybe I need to zip up because I only have one.
Well, I thought it was funny that he was up behind the garden shed smoking a cigarette when they told him, so that's good. No, but I almost wonder if he thought he could get away with saying, because, when Bush said, "Hey, you know what, don't do that or we're going to knock you around," country stopped because they knew he would when it was time. And I almost wonder if he thought he could get away with saying that, like, "Oh, yeah, you do that and we're going to screw with you." And they're like, "Yeah, you haven't proved it yet, and I'd like to see you try." And then he's like, "No, but really," then he goes into the whole thing of just saying it over and over and never actually taking steps. So I think he thought he could kind of ride Bush's coattails of the tough talk, but, Bush was...
You actually have to be able to back up
when
your tough
talk. When a Texan says to you, "We're going to get you," you damn well better believe we're going to get you.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Oh, yeah.
And it may not be...
Okay, we already know right now that Obama's not from Compton. Okay.
You're right.
If a brother from Compton said, "I'm going to kick your Grulius Maximus," you should be driving out of the state by now.
And you know what? And we've talked about this a lot in the show. He has no testicular fortitude. He's never stepped up.
Because he only has one.
It can still have fortitude.
He is so worried about how people see him and being everybody's friend and
Jesus,
blah, blah, blah.
Son, you are so stinking serious right now.
Yeah. Isn't that one of them has to be, right?
Jeez.
Oh, man.
Hey, man. What a bummer.
Is that the 1 minute till the show ends?
No, 1 minute and then a break.
And then a break?
For those who are trying to go home now and spell testicular fortitude, sit there.
You know, don't Google it and then click on images.
Is he running for in New York again? The one who looked it up?
I don't know, but hey, our 1 hour is almost up.
I can't believe this went by so fast.
So hey, what about? I want to leave you with this. Apparently, one of the oldest condors in Central California died from lead poisoning, and they found that it was a fragment from a .22 caliber lead bullet. So now
there it goes.
So now California wants to outlaw lead bullets, which is awesome because lead is only used in 95% of ammunition. So hey, folks, we're not going after your guns, but a condor got sick, so we're just going to outlaw your ammo.
You can turn your ammo down at the local DHS.
You know what? I'm shocked, though. He didn't even have to go in front of a death panel.
No, but he was... Remember Condor with
Hey, Ken, we're going to give this to you. You tell everybody where they can find you.
Well, I was released this weekend, so...
Yeah, and don't get your mom's house.
You'll probably find me at home with this little thing on my ankle. But for everyone else, actually, you can just tune in. Tomorrow night we will be talking about The Way on the Exceptional Conservative Show. In the District of Columbia, there are over 500,000 people that could vote for an election. Only 50,000 people came out for the last election, and the GOP person who was running for the city council seat came in third. So obviously, maybe it's the GOP who has a problem if you can't win with only 50,000 people voting. So we're going to talk about The Way. Everyone can go to theexceptionalconservativeshow.com, but indeed, we need to do this more often. The best show and the most hilarious show is Sackheads Radio. You need to tune in with it. I'm just gracious and honored that they even included me this particular evening.
Hey, this is an honor for us. We do have to, maybe we have to do this a little more often.
Maybe a semi-regular or a regular thing.
Yeah, let's do a regular thing because this was a blast. Ken, you are wise beyond I can even explain. You have such a great insight on things. You have an amazing sense of humor. And we cannot say enough how thankful we are that you hung out with us tonight.
And doing like a Jay-Z Lincoln Park collision course show that we did here tonight.
Wow.
Phenomenal.
Wow.
You Jay-Z. Brother, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, man? You down with a brother.
Well, for us, you can find us every Friday night at the Sackheads Radio Show. Go to sackheadsradio.com. Mary, if you guys all in the chat room liked us, check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/sackheadsradio, and we are on Twitter.
We're bigger on Twitter.
We're bigger on Twitter, but we're still on Facebook. We will see you guys Friday night. Ken, we will hear you tomorrow night, my friend.
All right. God bless
Ken,
you all. Take care, America.
God bless you. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
Good night.
All right. Peace.